What is up, guys? Welcome back to this bike building channel. Today on the channel we're going to be building up our brand new bike right here. We have a Fiend Garrett Reynolds V2 signature frame. Here's my old bike. You guys have been watching the channel for like the whole existence of this channel. I've been on a Sunday. Nothing against Sunday. I kind of just want to switch my geometry up, but they do make great, amazing bikes. But I was lucky enough to have Fiend help me out with getting framed in a couple parts and stuff. So we're going to build it up, but we do have to take off some parts from the old bike. It's going to be a crazy build. Let's just get right into it. Got our essential bike building tools, chain breaker, a little Allen key set, an Odyssey tool which has a lot of little knickknacks on it, as well as this bottom bracket installer, I believe. I'll show you guys the parts that we got. I have my black Fiend Garrett Reynolds bars that we're going to throw on the new bike. A couple of Demolition Momentum 20.35 tires. We got the BSD Planetary Free Coaster Revolutionary Hub, whatever you want to call it. So I built this up in my wheel building video. Got some Fiend like 3-piece cranks, so try them out. Bike bump. I usually ride the Odyssey JCPC, but I am trying out some BSD Jonesin pedals. Gonna try them out, but I do like the metal pins of the JCPC, so if the pins get erased on these from Husky Nation riding, then I'll probably go back to the JCPCs, but we're gonna try them out. Got a Fiend bottom bracket, 2 Odyssey tubes, also throwing on a 4th peg, so we have another plastic peg, some grease, because you can't build a bike without some grease, you know what I'm saying? 1 G Sport rim strip, got a Fiend Garrett Reynolds V3 stem. Best stem I've ever ridden. Have one on my other bike, but I wanted to get a new one. Got a couple carbon fiber spacers. Hopefully one of them works out. Fiend Maro seats. Got a little bit of tri-flow in case we need to grease it up. And we got a Fiend headset. Last but not least, we got the Garrett Reynolds Fiend V2 signature frames. Got some cool little Rick and Morty stuff going on. Start off with putting the cranks and bottom bracket on. Put a little grease in there, you know. We are double greased, ready to start the procedure of putting the bottom bracket in. I use the most trustworthy bottom bracket installing tools, and this one's made by Stanley. This one does just what you need. We're gonna slide in the bottom bracket spacer. That's just so if you over tighten your cranks, your bearings don't start to crush in on itself. It has like an internal support. We're already greased, so time to start mining metal. This is where it starts getting a little annoying because I'm using the sprocket off my old bike, so now I gotta take my old cranks off just to get the sprocket off. So I'm gonna do that real quick and we'll jump cut to when I have the sprocket. Got the sprocket off. Had to hit my cranks like well over 100 times to get them off of the other bike, just to get this off. But we got it. Now onto this spindle in. I need the bottom bracket installer. I want to make sure we have even splines on both sides, so it's just balanced. So we got a little more on this side. The sprocket on the crank arm. Now we're going to put it on now that we know the spacing we need for this frame, which is going to be 1 little spacer. BSD crank arm cushion installer. How close that is. But the chain's not on right there, so it's fine. Definitely may have sat on my grease tube right here. You know, it happens. You know, it's just it looks like a nice cushion, but we're gonna keep going with the video. Non-sprocket side spacer going on. Also put the crank on the spline to see, so it looks like we're gonna need 1 spacer. And we have to align the splines up. You guys see there's little teeth inside there that we have to line up perfectly 180 compared to the other side. Kind of make the crank arm straight with the seat tube here, so then I can just go straight on with the seat tube, and it should, nope. It's kind of just a point of reference. All right, that should be it, I think. Let me tap it and check. Tap this on real quick. Nice. So now we've got our cranks arm, and we should try to have equal spacing on either side, which it looks like we do, which is nice. Now we got our bolts here. We just got to grease them real quick, which, you know, already come equipped with. And we just put them right on. I'm not gonna tighten it down hard yet. I'm just gonna go flush. I believe how this system works, it has a second bolt under the main bolt. I think we tighten these down, and then we tighten the second bolt to like lock it. Bracket cranks on. I do like this crank system. My cranks are really tight. Like, I haven't had tight cranks like this in forever. Like, look at this. And I don't crank flip, so I like my cranks to not move. And I think this little pinch bolt system makes it so your cranks like are really freaking hard to come loose, which I like a lot. I think all pedals come labeled. These are labeled right here. This has an L on it, so it's the left one. If you guys are someone new to BMX or any bikes, the right pedal is normal thread, so righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Left pedal is the complete opposite, so it's lefty-tighty, righty-loosey, and that's because, like, when you're pedaling the bike, it's always spinning, so they have the threads going against on my new pedals, but we're gonna make sure we grease these. I'm gonna force the pedals in. I kind of just hover it over the threads and just turn it until it bites into the threads. We could be here forever. Oh, there we go. Let's do the other side. I've seen people cross thread, which they get the wrong pedal to the wrong crank arm, and then you're out a pair of pedals and a pair of crank arms. So it's really just patience is key. These pedals have like the internal 6, and I would never buy any pedals that don't have this, like, because that's just a second way to get off your pedal if you somehow do get it stuck. This is what we got so far. It's looking pretty good. Got the whole bottom bracket already set up. We're gonna start putting the front end together, but I'm gonna have to recycle the forks off this one. These forks, not even a year old. I wouldn't do anything over 2 years old. Those are garbage if you've had forks for that long, unless you like are barely riding, but I ride almost every day. So 2 years is the cutoff, really a year and a half, but these are less than a year old, so we're gonna throw these on the new bike for now, but probably towards the end of the summer, I'll get some new forks too. Yeah, look at this. Look at that. That's so much grease. Just go ahead and wipe that on the grease rag here. We've acquired the forks, and they still feel pretty solid. Let me just check the welds. Always uncheck the welds, especially this one. You don't want your forks to snap. Got a little bit of a grease barrier, but these forks are still good. Let's go. We do want to grease the headset before we put the bearings in. You guys saw how easily that came off last time, but I think that's because I put a little bit of grease in the fork. But let me just get some grease from where we sat on it earlier. Just leave it there, you know, might as well. Grease the top, and then also the bottom. Never seen packaging where it comes with like a little cardboard in it, so it doesn't all like fly apart when you open it. I like that. Bottom bearing in. There we go. Now we gotta get the top bearing in. I don't think I've ever been this greasy in my life. I'm getting grease everywhere. We're gonna have to do a bike cleaning video after this. Looks like I'm working at a mine. Taking the stem cap off, and we're gonna put the bars on. I'll be doing that over here. Didn't tighten it yet, but we got it on just so we can figure out our headset spacers now. Now we're just gonna kind of just guess at what we think the height will be. So I'm putting a spacer on there. It might be a little too long because the inside of this stem, you can kind of see it from that angle. It goes down so the fork cap sits flush. You guys might think I'm crazy, but you saw how easy it was for me to take off my last stem. So I am gonna grease this top little bar because that also is another thing that sucks. So let me just get some grease. Good, got the grease. And I didn't have any problems. My stem never moved on the last bike, so I would say after testing it, I do recommend just putting a little layer of it, because any metal on metal contact, you know, it dries up in there and then it might just weld itself together. Just got a little cardboard here. I'm gonna try to tap it on, see what we're looking at. It's going right on really easily. Just a little extra there. It very well could be too long after I tighten it. There's only one way to find out. Feels fine, but I can't really tighten everything down until like I can sit on it and like really shake it. So we're gonna move on and I guess start with the wheels. Gonna do the back wheel first. My non-dry hub guard just flies off, so I'm just taking that off real quick. Give the rim strip a little stretch, because it's pretty hard to get on the rim most times. Alright, now we are on to putting the tire on, which is pretty easy. Alright, all I'm trying to do to start this off at first is just get one side of the bead in, which is not that bad. Grab the tire, pull it down. Alright, so we got half of it on. Now we need to get a tube, which we have right here. Gotta pump this up enough to fill its shape. Makes it a little easier. Shout out to Chad for breaking the other handle of this pump, but there you go. That's all we need just to fill the shape. Valve cap lining up with the rim, just gonna go ahead and put that through. A trick I learned, if you kind of like massage like from one end up, you'll have like the maximum amount of it's like bead to work with. So it should go on pretty easily. So there we go. Tire's on. And now I'm just pumping enough so the tire is fit to shape, but not that much air. Let's see where this feels right. Yeah, it looks like I'm at like 10 PSI. What I always do for a new tire, kind of push both ends of the bead into the rim. Changing out the front tire on my old bike. You guys can probably see right here. I've been riding with like the sidewall blown out a little bit. We're gonna investigate that after we take this off. But wasn't really worried about it blowing up because I had these new tires just sitting in my van. Might as well use this tube again. Oh, it's been in there a while. Sidewall did tear like the first layer, but it didn't go all the way through. I thought it was all the way through, but it is not bad. All right, we're gonna move on to putting the seat on so I can flip the bike upside down and has like another point of contact where it can balance. But I took off my seat pedals off the other bike. You see it says, right here it says minimum maximum insertion, so it means that this much of the post should be in the frame, and you can see the mark where I've been riding it, so we'll cut that off in the future because we don't have anything to cut that with. Two of the same seats here. This is the one I have been riding, and I'm so glad I'm changing it out because this one, it's not flexing too much now, but I snapped the nose on it, and it's just like weird for like any seat grab trick or even like hang fives, like my freaking stuff is just moving. So I'm gonna put it to where I had it last on my last bike. And, oh, all right here. Nice. That looks right. Oh my god, it's so solid. Like riding with a broken seat. Like I use like the inside of my leg to like counterbalance myself. I'm just excited just to have a new seat on, guys. But I've been saving it for this bike build. But I've had this seat for like the whole time my seat's been broken, but I've been strong. Always pick a good spot of the plastic pegs. My first time with a drive side guard. I'm pretty sure I needed to put the chain on first, so great. My least favorite thing, I always do it last, but I think I have to put the chain on first. It's the end of the video if this doesn't work. We got the chain installing tool. I'm just gonna tap it in to get it started, and then we'll bring it to the chain breaker, but you guys don't need to see this, it's frustrating. All right, success. Not tightening it down yet, just getting them on. I feel like my bike just got like 10 times more complicated now that I have a planetary hub, fourth peg. Who knows? Always cross tighten the stem. Jesus, like, I guess somehow there's kids like playing hide and go seek in here now. Don't know why. Maybe one of them fell. I'm gonna go check. Even gap there as well as on the bottom. Recycle my Odyssey par ends. Best bar ends out, in my opinion. I have yet to find a better set. Second to last step, we're gonna tighten this back wheel, and then the last step would be to put the chain sensors in, because you don't want to put the chain sensor in and then tighten the wheel. It's just like a small metal, like threaded bolt that goes through the frame. You tighten it down with the chain sensors, there's a good chance it'll bite into like the axle bolt and you'll like just bend it. So we got to do this first. Oh, we've got our chain sensor on the Allen key. It came with, they actually gave us 4 of these, I guess, in case they bend, but we don't bend chain sensors on this channel. We're just gonna screw this in until it stops, and we'll be done with the bike build. Might have to throw these pants away after, you know, sitting on the grease, but you know, it was a good time. It came in handy. It's the finished product, gang. It's looking nice. I still feel so weird with the 4th peg, but we've done it. Big thanks to Bobby and Garrett over at Fiend for sending me a frame and the parts. Really appreciate it. Also appreciate guys at Full Factory for helping me out with the Full Factory stuff that I've been riding for years. All great quality stuff. Looking forward to trying out the new geometry. Hope you guys enjoyed this bike build. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing if you're new. And we'll see you guys with another daily action adventure bike building video. Fresh ideas now with the coaster and the 4th peg, so it's gonna be exciting.